Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Eshleman. I am an autistic researcher who works on disability inclusion and accessible systems. In my last video, I talked about how to be an ally to disabled people, how to support them without taking over. One of the most meaningful ways to do that is by helping create environments where people feel comfortable, included, and safe enough to actually participate. So today I want to talk about a part of inclusion that I think often gets overlooked, and that is sensory accessibility. When people hear that term, they usually imagine like loud noises and bright lights, or maybe someone wearing like noise canceling headphones. And yes, light and sound certainly are part of it. But sensory accessibility is about a lot more than that. Our brains and our bodies process the world in all kinds of ways. Some people are really sensitive to touch or scent or temperature or movement. That's sometimes called like sensory defensiveness, like you have to protect yourself from so much input. And other people actively seek out more stimulation, like deep pressure or repetition, to regulate themselves. And that's sometimes called sensory seeking or looking for more input to help regulate. Um, and it's not just autistic people that this applies to. This matters for people with migraines or post traumatic stress disorder or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, chronic pain. Honestly, all of us probably in some ways. So I'll give you an example from my own life. There are some places that I go where I can hear and smell electricity. So that might sound strange, probably, if you've never experienced it. But for me, the combination of that like high pitched, this kind of buzzing sound in the walls or coming from lights, and that sharp, like shocky ozone scent can become so overwhelming for me that I can't focus. It feels like I'm using every single bit of mental energy I have just to stay calm and to stop myself from bolting out of the room. Like my brain is in fight or flight mode, and suddenly I'm not listening, I'm not thinking clearly, I'm just trying to survive the environment. And I think that that's the part that we don't always talk about. Um, Unmet sensory needs don't just cause discomfort, they really can hijack your ability to function. So it's not about being sensitive or being picky. It is about a very real cognitive toll of having to constantly push through an environment that your body is telling you to try to escape from. And I think that that toll looks different for everybody. Some people can tune things out, others, like me, cannot. There's just no one size fits all. And that's why creating sensory accessible environments matters so much. It's not just about making spaces quieter or darker, it's about designing them with the understanding that people process input differently and that those differences deserve respect. So I was trying to think of a few simple things that you can do in terms of accommodating for and planning for people's different sensory needs. Things like offer quiet rooms or low stimulation zones at events or in shared spaces like offices. Let people move around or fidget or wear sunglasses or headphones in meetings without making a big deal out of it or embarrassing them. Be mindful of how many scented products are used in a space and just try to reduce strong cleaning or fragrant smells wherever it's possible. Give people different ways to participate and to engage. So, not just in the moment verbal discussion, but also things that we've already talked about, like giving people the opportunity to participate in writing or asynchronously. And finally, I think ask yourself, is there anything that someone might need to feel more comfortable here? Or actually ask the person, do you need anything to feel more comfortable here? I don't think that these should be considered burdens. They're not burdens, they're design choices. And usually they benefit everybody. Think about how good it feels to step out of a chaotic space and into calm, or how helpful it is to choose how and when you engage. That is what sensory accessibility looks like in action. When we make room for different sensory needs, we make room for more people to feel safe and respected and to be able to show up as themselves, which I think is just a better quality work environment, life, relationships. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's keep creating spaces where no one has to mask or push through distress just to belong.